Okay, so right now what I'm doing is scaling these shapes down. Essentially, anytime we're creating something like an art toy, like any of these, I'm sure some of you have seen these types of models. There's the Pops toys. Essentially, they're like a very basic shape, and then you paint over the top of them. What my objective is today is to take and find all the different shapes and then have that in a library. So when students actually want to create something, they can mix and match whether they want these legs on this character or this head on this body. You can keep changing it up. So that is what I'm currently doing. Because currently there is not a library of all these different shapes. And this will make it a lot easier. So I am modeling this in Blender 3D. However, the program that we'll be using to put these together is a lot simpler. It's going to be in Tinkercad. Tinkercad is just all basic shapes. Oh. So the thought is to have like maybe 10 to 20 different bodies you can use, 10 to 20 different legs and ears and all that fun stuff. Okay. So now that I have that shape, very basic, I'm going to apply this. So what I'm doing here is this is essentially this shape right here. I'm adding a modifier in Blender called subdivide, and essentially this is good for like if you're creating a game character. It's good to have the stuff that's low polygon. This is too low polygon, but this is essentially like a low polygon for that actual character. Now I can kind of raise this up a bit so it's a little more smooth. So like right there is nice and smooth. That's probably what we'll be using. In fact, I think what I'll do, I'm gonna save this as a low polygon right there. And copy that, paste it, so that we have both the low polygon and the high polygon to choose from. So apply that. Now that I've applied that, when I go to edit, now it's got like high polygons. It might have too many. I don't know. Same thing with this character here. Now this isn't applied to it, so when I go to edit, it edits the lower amount of polygons. So these are the polygons 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than all these little ones. But when I go into here and apply, now it's applied to it. You got low and you got high. Okay, so let's take and I export this, I wonder. All right, for the time being, I'm going to select all these and delete them. And I'm going to export this. So there's two file types that we'll use for creating models that will be ready either for as a game character or to print out in as a 3D object on a 3D printer. And it's either OBJ, which is this one, OBJ, or STL. Both of those are good. So I'm going to save this as an STL file. All right, let's see. Let's go to desktop. So bring it down here. I'm going to do characters. Art. Total character parts. That makes sense. All right, so this one is the low poly. So low poly body one. Sometimes you want to actually print it out with that. It might look cool depending on what that thing is. So now I'm going to undo this, and instead I'm going to take and delete these and save this as the high poly. Now, when I actually have the class for the prototype product design, there might be shapes that are not available. If you're a new student that is creating stuff, it might be a little difficult to do that. You can attempt to create stuff. I definitely, that's actually, I don't mind you doing that. But if you need to, I can create some different shapes so that you can concentrate on the art of the shape. So this would be called high poly body 01. Okay, cool. And again, I'm going to undo this. Let's take this. Well, no, those two things out here. What should I do next? Should I do these legs? Let's do these legs. Eyes are very simple. They're just round shapes. Maybe the ears. I'll do the ears. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a mesh. Everything I generally create in 3D starts out with a cube. Cube is the easiest thing because it's symmetrical. So now I go from there, and then what I talked about before, the modifier. I'm going to go down to subdivide surface, bring that up to a little bit higher poly. Again, when I'm manipulating this, it's manipulating it as the cube, not as the higher poly, because I haven't applied that actual modifier. So from this menu, I'm going to make it a little smaller. I think I'm going to start this at the end here. Take that. So I can take and select things either by the point, the line, or the face. I'm going to select this whole face, scale it down with S, about that big. Now the other thing I can do, notice I can't see this design in the back. This is solid view up here, and then this is the different view. Okay, that way I can see what I'm doing. It's a little bit hard to see, but okay, there we go. Let me extrude that out. I'll bring that over here. Scale it down a little bit. Nope, 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 nope. I think this piece needs to be smaller. Let's scale that down. Up there. Extrude that out. Extrude is E. Extrude again. That's pretty good. Just bend that a bit. So now I can take and manipulate it by the line, the edge. If I hold down Alt when I'm doing this, if you are interested in creating something in Blender, if I hold Alt and select this, it'll select all the way around it. which is good. So now I can scale it instead of having to go through and selecting each line. It's a lot quicker that way. So you create the basic shape, and then you keep editing it till it comes out the way you want. Get a better idea of it this way. It's very simple. Bigger in the middle. I think I'm going to make this a little bit bigger in the middle. Actually, a cucumber. Scale this up a little bit too. And scale this down a little bit. So, simple ear design. Okay. And again, what I'll do, I'm going to take it, delete all these. Actually, I'm going to save this whole file right now. One advice when you're working on anything that is with a computer, always save often. If you work on something for like 20 minutes, an hour, and you lose it, it's just like, oh, that sucks. I'm going to save that in Artoy parts. Yeah. Alright, so that's saved. I feel like that's still not right. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Okay. Simple shapes like this, I'll show you later in Tinkercad. This is easy to create. It's a little bit more complex shapes that are harder. And actually, okay, I might change something up, but for now it's good. So you can delete all this and make this a low poly. So we'll apply that to export as the STL. And we'll call that. Oh, where's the other one? We'll call that low poly year. Just undo that. And apply that. And go to export. STL. I don't see the low poly body. I think I must have messed it up the wrong way. High poly here. Alright. So now we have the ear. Then we have the body. Now we'll bring in the arm. Let's bring this guy over here. Okay. I'm going to say that arm is essentially the same as that. I think the hand is the only thing I need to do differently. Oh, I want to go ahead. I'm going to save this again. I'm going to go into Tinkercad. Let's go into there. So Blender is like easy for me because I've been using it for quite a while. But something like Tinkercad is something like anybody could use. It's a bit to load. All right. Signing in. Password. Okay. Okay, I got it. All right, a whole bunch of projects. I'm going to create a new project. And all right, so Tinkercad essentially all very simple shapes. So I'm going to bring in these a little bit more complex shapes, and we'll mess around with them. See what happens. So we have art toy character parts, the high poly body. Now it can only load up to 25 megabytes within this, which is why I made high poly and low poly parts, because essentially if you have a lot of stuff going on, you could create something with low poly, bring it back to Blender, and assemble it. I suppose you can assemble everything in Blender. That might be easy, but it's just Tinkercad's a lot easier to maneuver when you're new to all this. So this body is 1 megabyte, so that's not too bad. Let me import that in. Where is it? I don't see it. Let's try again. Import. Let's try the high poly ear. There's the ear. Wait, is it the ear or the body? Oh, and you just took a little bit for the ear or the body to load. But there it is. So there's the body. So the body's this way. Let's bring this up. Let's move this around. I think the hardest thing about using this program is just the figuring out how to actually move around when you're first doing this. But once you figure that out, that's pretty easy. So these are kind of small, so I'm going to take and make them bigger. Hold down Shift, and then everything will exponentially get bigger. Okay, that's better. Over. Okay, I want to rotate that a little bit. Copy and paste that. Put that on the other side. There's the ears. Oops, did not want to do that. Let's try that again. Let's move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, there's the. This up here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Not sure why that looks like it's. I guess that's good. All right, so that the color piece that we had. Back to here. If we want to create this, I'm just going to take the cylinder and bring it in. Very simple. Take this. There. Now this snaps to the grid. So right here, it snaps to 1 millimeter. I can turn that off, and then it won't do that. And it'll be a little easier. So a little smaller than that. Right there. So now when we're creating our characters, we're not going to be copying these characters like I am. Essentially what I'm doing is bringing each shape in so we can manipulate it however we want. Let's snap to grid again. Okay. Let's take and scale this down. Still too big. Maybe let's just get this way. I think the easiest thing is actually just taking and assembling it the same way that it looks in the picture, just so I can make sure it looks the way I want. That makes sense. Okay. So I got that. And we got the little knobs down there, will be pretty easy. Now this, I could take and just stretch that a little bit. Let's bring it down again. And then for the legs right here, what I can do, I can actually cut some holes in that, which would be cool. So this right here, let's take this around, swing this around 90 degrees. Okay, make that a lot smaller. No, I just did. Do that. Take off the snap grid. No, why is it doing that? Okay. Sometimes it's not easy. It does stuff you don't want to do. Okay, that's better. And I'm actually going to bring this in this way. Like so. Turn on that grid again so I can. I'm moving this with the up, down, left, right arrows. It makes it really easier to move it exactly how you want. Take that here. So there's two types of shapes in Tinkercad. There's the salad and the hole. And when you combine them together, obviously, it creates a hole. There's something. So I want it to be about like that. Now, how does that look there? That has like a flat bottom. So I think what I want to do first, I'm actually going to bring this over first. I just want to create a flat bottom first, so I know exactly what it'll look like. Let's scale this down a little bit. Better. This down, this over. Okay. That's there. There. Okay. So how far down do we want this? About right there. Okay, that's good. So now if I take this, hold shift and have these two selected, you can put those together and it'll cut the little hole out of the bottom there. Just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so now I can bring this back over. And it has legs to stand on. It gives me a better idea of how far up I want to go with this. Go a little bit higher. And that's pretty good. Make sure it goes all the way through. So you can select that, and again, do that little whole thing. Oop. What did I do? I know what I did. This, I didn't make it whole. There we go. This. There we go. Back to here. Looks a little bit more like that. However, I do want it to be straight up like this is. So I'm going to edit that. Undo. Let's see. You know what? Instead of doing that, delete that piece. We'll bring a cylinder. This round. Scale that. Oops. There's little problems here. If you work with this and have trouble scaling things down, sometimes it helps to just move it around, move the scene around a different way. Make it a little easier. Wait a second. Actually, no. Come back there altogether. I did want this one. I just need to have this out more. Up to there, but the whole thing is smaller. So I think what I need to do, I should just have a cube there. So this is actually going to be a lot easier in Blender. So what I'm looking to do is create the shape and have this go straight down. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create that shape in here. It's a lot easier. Alright, here's a cube. Rotate that around. So I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees. 90. There we go. Up. Oh. Okay. Right, what I need to do is cut off half of this. So I'm going to do first, delete the face here. Right. So take and okay, delete that. Okay, so now what I want to do is select the edges. And just want to bring this straight down like that. Okay. That's more of what I'm looking for. Select this piece here. Select this piece here. F for fill. I'll fill in the shape there. Again, from before, remember you want to select that whole face there, that whole edge. Hold down Alt, get the whole thing, and now I can fill that. And again, with Alt, fill that. Okay, so now I get the shape that I want. Okay, let's scale this down just to make sure it's what we want exactly. Scale that. Yeah, that's about right. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. See, a lot easier creating that in this one than creating it in here. I'd have to put a cube and I'd have to make it come straight down. It's just, it's difficult. So I'll save this as a just put it as STL. I'll call this a leg cutout. Save that. Go back into Tinkercad. I'll import what I just created, which is the leg cutout. Import, where is it? Let's delete this one. It's right there. I'm going to scale it up. Again, hold down Shift. Exponentially scale. Much better. Let's bring that over, up. Take and pull this whole thing this way. Pull it over there. Let's undo. What I'm looking to do is pull this whole thing over. Oh, there I go. 8. There we go. Okay. Create this as the whole. I think that's a little better. That's basically what I want. Go back to here. It's lower. Bring it down a little bit. Yeah. So it's got this flat part for the feet. All right, that works. Together. Okay, I like that better than that last one I did. Let's see what's going on a little bit more. Okay, it's getting there. Just so I have a better idea, I'm going to change the colors on here to something that makes more sense. I think these were like black. Now, when we actually print out our prototype designs, it's all going to be one color, so everything's going to have to be painted afterwards. Alright. And like I said before, this can essentially be the arm. Bring it over. Take that down. Maybe the arm is bigger this way. This way. Mirror that. It should be bigger up here and smaller down at the wrist. That makes more sense. Take this, copy and paste. We want to do here. Okay. Let's move this over more. Okay, we hit this here. That's fine. That works. That was a mirror tool. It mirrored the wrong way, but I was able to cover what I wanted. Let's change this to the same color. Use that tan. Not so tan. That is not tan. Tan. This one. I did not see that color. Okay. Let's change it to like gray. Change these to gray too. There. Gives me a better idea how it flows together. Okay. Look at the nose. Nose will make white. A little smaller. Whoa. Not too far away. So everything essentially can be made of very simple shapes. Some shapes need to be a little bit more complex, but in essence, you don't really need to overdo it. Yeah. For a second there, it looked like the Among Us character. Alright, so here's the next thing I want to do. The eyes are essentially probably drawn on. Same thing with his nose. Not easy enough. Let's see, it's a tiny bit smaller. This halfway is about right there. That's about a quarter. So halfway is there, so it's down there. So halfway, tiny bit down low. It's not too bad. Hands are going to be the hardest part. Takes a little bit more modeling. I might model that later. Okay. Very simple shapes. I like these characters also, because you can kind of replace the faces and do different things. So I like the idea of having like an art toy that it's one shape and you just pop in the faces depending on what your mood is. Maybe what about this one? If it was almost like a Mr. Potato Head, where you can store like the faces inside and then replace them. Maybe it's like a little keychain. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe the same thing along the lines of Mr. Potato Head. You could have different ears. So you have the antlers here. Maybe it'll be like bunny ears. Maybe there's no ears on the side at all. So like different like places to put stuff. That would be kind of cool. I don't see many of the Mr. Potato Head things. Not sure why. I mean, something to tinker around with is kind of fun, especially like you're in class. You know, keep changing the things. What is that? United Monsters? Number 204. Looks like it's cement. That's interesting. Now here's an interesting thing that is hard to do in Tinkercad. When you're cutting out the shape, you can cut out a perfect hole, but not curved. So I might create a couple of shapes where you can cut like intricate different holes. I feel like this should have a curve to it a little bit. Give it a little more character. I kind of wonder how this one looks if it's. I bet you. I don't know. It's more like this, to where the side of it comes down like that. So maybe that's what I need to do. This is flat. Well, this comes down a little bit. I did only do it up to here. I didn't do the whole thing. So, where I wanted you to do. So that's why I saved that. I need to have it come all the way down. Let's try that. Ooh, that's going to be difficult. Again, that's why I saved the low poly. It's a little bit easier to manipulate. Okay. Cut it out. Actually, do a little bit. I need to figure out. See what I can do. Okay. So I want to actually select this whole bottom here. This one I kind of have to do one at a time. Is that enough though? Not really. Nope. Let me go back. Let's see. Go back. Sometimes the back button won't work. I did that though. Nope. We can't go back. Not too bad. Okay. Okay. Shift Control Z. Shift Control. Alright, let's try that again. Oops. Alright, let's take more. Still there. Oops. It's a little better. Whatever. Check to see how it looks this way. Okay, so definitely needs to come down more. Sure. I want to keep those selected so that I can. Oops. All right, how do we do that? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, come down. Okay, let's think I see what I need to do. This is why it's important to save a piece that you haven't not put the app, haven't put the modifier on. That becomes difficult. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Still needs to come down a tiny bit more. But in all, I think that's pretty good. I'll bring it out this way. Scale on the scale on the x-axis. Nope. Scale on z-axis. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Just want to do that just to kind of see how it looks. It's a little better. I want to put it this way. Okay. That's not too bad. Origin to. Okay, let's see here. That looks better. I like that. Let's do the same thing. I'm going to take and delete everything but that. And go to export as STL. We'll call this low poly body 02. Create 01. Create 02. And take this, add a modifier, subdesign, time, Okay, let's see this export as STL. It's high poly O2. Okay, high poly O2. Okay. Let's save this. Save as. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's go back to Tinkercad. Alright, so that was one of the problems I didn't like. I'm going to take this. So, interesting thing about this, I already cut the hole in this. I can uncut the hole, just like that. Kind of a fun thing. Alright, so I'm going to import. Let's see if it lets me. I need a high poly body too. What I'm going to do is delete this one. Takes a minute to load. There it is. Let's take in. Cool. Alright, that's a little better. A little bit bigger. Yeah. What's this all about? Oh. Right. I need to make the flat feet again. Cut that bottom right off of there. Right there. Yep. Better. Okay. Better. Smaller. Take off the blue. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I kind of like to try to make it more better than it is. Okay. Back on. Off. That's about right. Okay, is that close? It's close. Maybe it does get bigger this way. This depends on the hand. Still need to do the hand. The hand will take a little bit longer. I'm not sure what that is. For that. A couple things there. So what I could do is, even though I don't want to have the nose drawn on, but I kind of want to see what it's going to look like. So that one of the things with this program is you can only paint like whole objects, while in Blender you can actually paint on top of objects. Don't need that at all. Still thicker here. Actually, maybe this needs to go up more. Get rid of that nose. Yeah, that's better. But again, this is not going to be my final piece. I'm just creating shapes to use. So it helps to have an actual sketch beforehand, so that you know what your piece is going to look like. Also helps to have a sketch that has color on it, and you want to figure out what needs to be modeled and what needs to be like drawn on later. So this nose, I can't see the dimensions of it, but it looks like it's just the nose, and then this is drawn on. This looks like it comes out a little bit. I could actually make something like that. This is drawn on, that's drawn on, and obviously the colors are all drawn. So it helps to plan it out beforehand instead of making like 3D eyes when you really don't want it for that character. I guess the simpler the better. We have tiny little cylinders. So the other art toys that I want to take and create with, let's see, where are they? Over here. Alright, so we have, it's over. Mouse it's missing. Okay. So these are other samples. So I need to do that. Right. Yeah, so these are the samples of things. Very simple one. There's a lot you can do with actually, like with paint. These are obviously not just paint. I love that. That's cool. Taking that round shape and making it like that. There's those shapes we had before. I can make some like robot parts to put together. Think about the placement of the head when you're doing your design. It doesn't have to be a typical body and head over the top. It could be where the shoulders are up here, like for this bloody abominable snowman. There's the piece we were working on. Again, really cool, very simple shape, but fun little cartoon designs. Also, really simple designs. I like those. These are cool. Oh, this is great. Just taking marker, like coloring it with markers. I wonder if that can be done. So these are going to be printed out in what's called PLA plastic. So I'll probably have to use paint on them. I might be able to put some kind of a coating on it so that you can easily draw with marker. That would be cool. Let me see all the different designs. Now notice all the bodies are the same, but the heads are different. So that's one of the examples of changing it out. There's that guy. These are fun. I love that. That's cool. It's almost like a Stitch. Reminds me of Stitch. That's so cool with the hair. Another thing I'll have to work on is some different like hair designs. So again, depending on what you do for a design, you can basically do anything. And then you gotta kind of figure out like how big do you want the design? Do you want it to be like a good size art toy, or do you want it to be like something you put on a keychain? Because that's important to know, like for any little details. Like this one will still work here with the horns, but something with more detail, like a smaller, like for instance, these ears might easily break off if it's a smaller design. So I got to think about that. That's funny. Simple designs. And then maybe taking hands that you could potentially put like a ice cream cone or whatever in. Those are fun. So, Canbot. Those are cool. Yeah. Another thing I'm going to do is actually create a bunch of like cutout mouths that you can like take that basic shape that I created earlier and then like insert that mouth so that it's not just like a flat, it actually has dimension. And then after that you put in the teeth and the tongue and everything. It's a funny one too. I like these arms, which gets really fat to really thin. I like that cartoon style. It's good to look at samples of stuff. It's good to come up with an idea for a design and then do a lot of research, and figure out like what do you want your idea to look like? What influences do you want to take from? Again, really simple stuff, but fun. Imagine this. You can see the core of the Earth. Imagine this as something that's inside of it that spins, so you see different things. You can take and create like a ball, and whatever's on the inside could be like painted differently. And every time you turn it, you see something different. Maybe it's something useful, like remember to do this or whatever. Day of the week could be a calendar, something like that. That's cool. I like that. So playing off of so you can use characters that are already out there as long as you change them enough so that they're your own design. They do that a lot, especially with like Nike or different different brands. So like SpongeBob and Patrick, you see this is totally different. It's not. It's bordering on plagiarizing, but a lot of people like it's a remix. It's a remix of something that's already out there. Also cool. I mean, you don't even need a body. You can just have the head with legs and arms. You know, what's this one? That's cool. Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff. That we can do. But it's all shapes. So I hope to have some students soon, and we can play around with some different ideas. It's good to think of something like personal. I mean, even like taking yourself or taking a friend and making them into a character and figuring out like what shapes would best represent them. It doesn't even need to look like a friend. What it could be is it could just like kind of mimic your friend's personality in some way. Maybe it's in its posture or in the expression. I mean, you could probably take this piece and make a million different things out of that. So very simple. So yeah, any designs that you create, even if you're like not an artist, that's okay. Because I'll help you like work out whatever you want. Um, if you wanna, if you have an idea, I can help you like flesh it out until it's something cool, something that's still personal to you, but not my design. It's important to me that whatever you're creating is your design. Again, I don't mind helping out, but it's got to be a personal thing to you. Um, and yeah, something that is like that SpongeBob can be personal to you because it'd be just a different type of design. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I will be on again soon. I'm uploading this to YouTube. I have my schedule this month of February. I'll be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays streaming, and on Discord. So any students that want to come in and check out the Discord and want to create some different art toys, that's what we're doing this month. Next month is going to be digital graffiti. Some students will be able to come into YOUmedia and try out the virtual reality, and you can actually create your own like digital graffiti. And the VR is so cool because it feels like you're actually there, and you're holding the controller. The controller looks like this here, and when you're spray painting, you're pushing the button. You can actually hear the little ball inside the spray can. You can change the different tips on that, so that'll be cool. That'll be March. March will be the digital graffiti. Um, for that class, we're going to be taking digital graffiti, creating designs, drawing them out first, and then kind of taking and projecting those onto the virtual reality wall and tracing them with your. If you want, you can trace them with the VR spray can, and then we'll put that to kind of like a time lapse. Put some like musical beats on it. Maybe put some like spoken word. Like, what do you want to say? If you saw your design up on the building, oh, what is it you want to say? So essentially, that's it. Anyway, thanks again. I will see you again soon. I'm gonna end the stream now. If I can figure out how to stop this. All right.